see. All that you are is all that I need. I know that it's a secret and that I gotta keep it, but I want the lights on, yeah, I want the lights on. And I don't wanna run away anymore. Leave the lights on, leave the lights on. I know that it's a secret and that I gotta keep it, but I want the lights on, yeah, I want the lights on. And I don't wanna run away anymore. Leave the lights on, leave the lights on.
spin and goal for free for a chance to win up to $1 million. Experience the thrill with Poker Stars. Are you in? I mean, play Neymar Jr. spin and goal for free for a chance to win up to $1 million.
Oh man, I have no idea where the sound's coming from. Spread actually. 7 LMP2, 6 GTE. Oh, it's not even spread actually. 7 LMP2, 6 GTE. the opening season for this Project Cars 2 multi-class series for the LMP2s and the GTEs here at Motive Racing. We are here at Monza for the opening round of the season. It's going to be an exciting one. We've got, I believe, 7 LMP2 cars and 7 GTE cars. So that is definitely going to be exciting to see how they all shape up. Obviously the LMP2s can still be between the GTEs, and the GTEs are very competitive cars in their category. So honestly, I'm it's a long time since we've done something like this. We did a one-off event at Le Mans in aid of the Mind.org charity a while back, and that was just a one-off event. Now we've actually got a series for the LMP2 GTE multi-class, so this is very exciting stuff. And we'll see if the racing being a little bit loose there out of their community, bringing it on onto the grass, but it's pointing in the right direction once again. That would have compromised them a little bit, but currently setting pace at the moment for the GTE class is this man here, the Nuts Nuts. He's got 6 tenths of a second at the top of that leaderboard over DeedeeTKU, sat in second place. You've got Valgues only sat in third at the moment, then former runner-up in GTE Championship here at Motive Racing, back in the Runner GTE class on a Monday night, and he's coming up to the front. Let's see if Valgues can improve on 4:69 and get himself closer to the Nuts Nuts. The Nuts Nuts can improve his lap time here. So we go at Valgues. Goes to the top of the leaderboard there on a 1:45 there, 3 tenths quicker than the Nuts Nuts. That is scorching stuff there from Valgues. I just think just Jose might
for the first time ever, you could boost your credit score instantly for free with new Experian Boost, only at Experian.co.uk. Experian account linked to your current account is required. Score increase subject to status.
We'd like to have 7 of each, but that's a compromise, 6 and 8. I'm not too worried about that. It's pretty good, pretty even split. So Valgues currently the man at the top of the leaderboard. The Nuts Nuts sat in second place. DeedeeTKU currently sat in third place at the moment in this qualifying session, 1.5 seconds off of Valgues. Valgues and the Nuts Nuts really lighting up the timing screens at the moment. Porsche, Ferrari, Ford, Aston. So ATO top 6 at the moment. Aston Martin a little way off of DB Racing, but he's excited to come along and have a race tonight. Messaged us earlier on saying, is there still room for this multi-class? There was a space, so DB Racing turning out tonight. Gets a little bit onto the sausage curve though, coming out of Della Roggia chicane in towards Lesmo. See how he takes this one. DB Racing, see what he's seeing. He comes up towards Lesmo 2. Taking a little bit more through Lesmo 2 than he comes through his first Lesmo. Gets a little bit onto the curve, chips it together. Nicely done there from him. Start this long run into the second fastest part of the track here as he comes underneath the old circle. Ascari is a left and right, really good fill the tyres coming into this part of the track. He's going to flip that curve on the inside to make the car rotate it, but he loses the car. He spins out, facing the wrong way there, but Racing's easily done. We saw Vettel doing the same thing in the F1 race a couple of seasons back now. He's hit the move as well, so we have to wait for another distance to come to the move. There making his way through, but Beambasher's coming towards the end of his current lap that he's on right now. Let's see what he can do here as he comes up towards the line. 46.4 there for Beambasher. So that is that then for the qualifying session for the GTEs. The drivers can finish the lap that they're currently on, and after this that will have to be their lot. Let's see what Ben Ashley can do here. He's currently sat in P5 at the moment, up towards the line. What can he put on the board? Moves up into 4th place. The nice work there from the DB Racing and both goals in the session. So down the steam pit. The Nuts Nuts, the last driver of the GTEs out on track. LMP2s are just coming out onto the track now. The Nuts Nuts coming down the back straight up towards the parabolic exit out. That's guys brutal. The lap time you can make or break well up 4 to 5 tenths of a second. Just do that one section of the lap change when you're exit out of the corner in towards parabolic canal. The Nuts Nuts making a tight entry, put the car a little bit on the inside. That wouldn't help him much at all. Valgues did improve his lap time to a 44.6 on his last lap with 7 tenths period of Nuts Nuts. Can the Nuts Nuts find 7-8 tenths here on his final run of this qualifying session? Over the line he comes. No, he can't. He stays in P2. So that's going to be that for the GTEs then. LMP2's out in force. right now. Xmart there just coming up towards turn 1. He will be actually encountering the Mutts Nuts at this time, as we see somebody just coming out the exit of the pit lane now. So Valgas, the Mutts Nuts, the top 2 here in the GTE class. Green Basher will be lining up in 3rd for the GTEs, with Grandmaster behind him, Nicky and BB Racing completing those guys. LMP2s, we've got Champ out on track right now, just put in and out that there, the 209. Hot Pack also out there, coming up towards Parabolic of the Civic. Also joining in the LMP2 class tonight. Good to see Xmart in LMP2s as well. Maze Gamer. Lots of team products guys out on the track tonight. Always good to have team products represented. This goes there out on the track. Our F1 champion actually on F1 2020. Great to see him back on Project Class 2. It's been a while since I've seen him in this game, but since he was last on Project Class 2 here at RoadRacing, he's gone and won a 42 race season on the F1 game here at Motive. Drove absolutely brilliantly in the Alpha Tauri throughout the entirety of the season. Went down to the wire in his battle with Green Pies. In the end, came out on top. Green Pies no longer with us here on the Motive Racing Discord server. I know he just suddenly changed overnight and turned into a bit of a monster. But anyway, just Jose. Just kind of coming up towards the Ascari chicane now. F1 champion being represented out on the grid. Great to see him get back on Project Class 2 once again, as we said. DJPhil also on the track tonight, driving in the Ligier Nissan number 35, a very fetching livery as well, a pink and black LMP2 car there, beautiful stuff. It looks as though Xmart's gone fastest with a 1:38.9. Civic goes up to P2. Emo Guy has done a 1:44.5. These lap times will go quicker and quicker as the track gets rubbered in, but it is getting colder, which may wreak havoc down so slidey with the grip out there. I imagine the soft tire is probably the go-to for this section. Just Jose who's the top of the leaderboard. This man though is the one I want to be watching. We know that Champ is incredibly quick in these LMP2 cars. Took 5 wins in a row in our Season 5 LMP2 Championship here at Motive on Project Class 2 back in the day. In one of our seasons, can't improve. It looks like it's an invalid lap time there for Champ on that particular run. Hotpack's gone up into 3rd place there, 1.3 seconds off of just Jose's fastest time. So 5 of the LMP2 cars have put in laps. Champ and Mason and DJPhil still get to put lap times in this session. GTEs, I'll give a quick update. Valdes took pole ahead of the Mutts Nuts. Green Basher there, lined up 3rd with MSD, Nicky and BB Racing completing the GTE classification. Valdes doing a fantastic lap there in the qualifying session. These guys now just sit and wait and watch, see what the LMP2 drivers put in. Just Jose still out of the top of the leaderboard. Xmart though is coming out of Parabolic. Let's see if he can put himself to the top of that leaderboard onto the power he comes out onto the start finish straight. See what Xmart can put on the board here. He might have a bit of a toe from some of the cars just up ahead of him. Crosses over the line now though, and it doesn't improve. Maze Gamer goes to the top of the leaderboard there. Goes quicker than just Jose. Getting a little bit held up here behind DJPhil. And had to back out of it coming through the first chicane. Civic gets very close to Maze Gamer. Only just over a 1/10 of a second off of Maze's fastest time so far, so really getting it down at the moment. Forgot that the music was still on. Oh dear. Quick recap. So GTE's pole position was taken by Falguest, managed to 1:44.6, 7/10 clear of the Mutts Nuts there in the GTE qualifying session. Beam Basher lining up in 3rd with Grandad Steve, Nicky and BB Racing rounding out the classification. DJPhil in the LMP2 is currently in the mix there with the GTEs. Hasn't really showed his full potential here in this session so far. Champ still yet to put in a lap in the LMP2 class. Surprising to see him not really getting it down at the moment. We know that Champ's feeling a little bit under the weather tonight, so that could be a contributing factor. But hopefully he gets that together. Emo Guy though, top of that leaderboard on a 1 minute 37.6 at the moment. Maze is coming out at the last corner. Let's see what Maze is able to do as he comes up towards the line now. Is he going to be able to find 4/10 and put himself above Emo Guy and Civic? Over the line he comes. No, he can't. Emo Guy and Civic separated by only 0.03 of a second right now, so it's incredibly tight at the top of that leaderboard. Just Jose sat in the pits, coming out now for his final run for the session. He'll get another lap in, but that'll be it. It'll only be one more lap for him. Xmark currently sat in 5th at this point. Hot Pack has done a time good enough for 6th, 2.5 seconds off of the fastest time. Let's see if he can improve a little bit here as he comes out of the last corner. What is he going to be able to do? Up towards the line, Hot Pack comes. It's flat to the boards here as he crosses over the line and can't improve. Actually, no, he does improve by 0.4, but not enough to move himself up the order. DJ Phil's moved himself up into P10 in the overall classification, as he has now got somebody up his rear though. Who's this behind DJ Phil? Somebody's putting pressure on him, so he may have to yield in a moment. Maze Gamer's all over the back of DJ Phil. No, it's not Maze Gamer, I do apologise. It is, I think it was Civic. But Emo Guy, still your man on pole position provisionally here in this session. Just under 2 minutes left to go. Looking very, very good for the overall pole and LMP2 pole. Champ's done a time which is good enough for 7th. That was presumably an outlap there for him. So he's still going, he's gone straight on over the first chicane. Oh no. Struggling a little bit maybe is Champ tonight. I've never seen Champ sort of be out of sorts, but maybe this is the night where we see if Champ's actually a mere mortal. He's pretty much a bulletproof type of guy. I mean, he's won races, he's won 24-hour races on this game in the GT3 class, so he's got that endurance, he's got that grit, he's a very tough guy. So yeah, I don't know, maybe he's struggling a little bit. We know he had his COVID vaccine yesterday and he was feeling a little bit under the weather, but he said a little while ago that he's feeling much better today than he was yesterday, and that he would like to come along and see what he's able to do. Let's see what he can do here. He will get one more lap in after this one, so this is obviously going to be an invalid lap due to him cutting the first chicane. He had to weave in and out of the bollards, and that's going to have dented his confidence a little bit, because now the pressure is on him. He's got to deliver on this next lap that he's on. Maze Game has gone to the top of the leaderboard. He's half a second clear of Emo Guy. Civic and Xmark both in the pits. They don't think they can improve. Just Jose's coming up towards the line. Emo Guy has just gone faster though than Maze Gamer. Puts him off the top spot by 0.2 of a second. What can just Jose do as he comes over the line? He can't improve. States P5. Hot Pack currently coming through the De La Roja chicane. You've got Champ still sat in. There he goes to the top of the leaderboard by 0.07 of a second. I thought he cut the first chicane. He's managed to cut the first chicane, slow down sufficiently in order to get a valid lap, and then he's gone and taken pole. Incredible stuff there from Champ. Wow. Top of the leaderboard there by 0.07 of a second ahead of Emo Guy. Let's see what he can do now that he's got a clean lap in. Right on board with the multiple winner in the LMP2 championship here at Motive in the past, as he comes through De La Roja chicane up towards Lesmo. He's really getting into it now, isn't he? He's getting into that rhythm which he was eluded him in the early stages of this session. Goes really wide though, going through that part of the track, getting wide over Lesmo 1, out of Lesmo 2, out onto this long stretch which leads towards Ascari. Looked like he got not the best exit out of Lesmo 2, gotta say, but see what he can do here. Wide as you like, coming into Ascari, maximising your entry speed all over the white line, gets a good mid-corner part, just tags the curb a little bit, getting the car rotated, nice exit as well. The exit's so pivotal to a good lap time here, because if you can get that good run out of Ascari, you can gain about 4 or 5 tenths on the other guys if they manage to get a poor exit. But into Parabolica he comes, slightly wider than he'd ideally like to be. You want to be sort of on the inside of that corner, just being able to release the steering as much as you can on the exit, but he's taken a very tight line here coming through that part of the track, so he must be scrubbing off a bit of speed there. Over the line he comes. Let's see what he did. Champ He improved his lap time by 1.4 seconds, so he's gone top by some considerable margin there. Champ puts it on pole ahead of Emo Guy. MazeGamer lining up in 3rd place with Civic behind him on the 2nd row. Xmart and Just Jose will be lining up in 5th and 6th. Hotpack 7th. Falgas, the Mutts Nuts, Bean Basher completing the top 10. LMP2 driver of DJ Phil in 11th with Grandad Steve, Nicky and BB Racing will be rounding out the field here for the first round of the LMP2 GTE multi-class here at Motive Racing. Congratulations to Champ getting pole position. Evil Scotsman, Emo Guy, says that he went wide a few times without getting a slowdown. No, the track limits are definitely on. We definitely put them on before the start of this race, so I don't know exactly what's going on there, but Just Jose saying in the comments, damn, I'm slow. Well, Just Jose, you're still getting into grips with it, mate. To be fair, you've been playing the F1 game for a while. We know you've got pace because you're the F1 champion here at Motive on F1 2020, so give it a few laps, just give it maybe a bit of practice and you'll be there. But here we go then, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to proceed to the race here for the first round of the multi-class series here on Project Cars 2 at Motive. Go, ladies and gentlemen, we're moments away from the start of the LMP2 GT multi-class here. Round 1 at Monza, it is lights out and away we go now. And Champ gets away well. Looks like Evo Guy slightly bogged off the line. MazeGamer is looking to the outside, coming up towards the first chicane. Here we go. Xmart up into 4th. Looks like Maze has got that move done, and Xmart gives Maze a bit of a tap in the rear. Maze runs into Champ. Oh, big collision there. Champ in the I think has lost a couple of positions there. He's dropped back onto Phil. He's way down to the back of the pack, I think. Champ is on his roof. Oh no. DJ Phil and Champ. As DJ Phil lifts Champ back over as he resets the car. Xmart leads the race. It was all Xmart's little nudge in the rear on Maze, which then led him to run into the back of Champ. And now we got Civic there sat in 3rd, just ahead of Just Jose. There's the Must Nuts in the GTE class running on the outside of Hotpack there, who's running in the LMP2s. Falgas just behind them. Bean Basher, Grandad Steve. But it's currently the Must Nuts who's got the jump on Falgas for the GTE class. And Xmart leads the LMP2s ahead of Maze, Civic and Just Jose at the moment. The Mutts Nuts though, and Falgas still looking very close in towards Lesmo 2. Bean Basher just keeping tabs to these guys at the moment. Grandad Steve there in 4th. Hotpack is lost out and has dropped way behind the GTEs, and he's lost it coming out of Lesmo 2. Emo Guy down into 11th place. He'll be pulling up onto the back of the GTEs pretty shortly, but Hotpack down to the back of the field. DJ Phil having a nightmare as well. Champ making his way back through onto the back of Emo Guy. Xmart though leads by 0.3 of a second ahead of MazeGamer up towards Parabolica for the first time. Looks like he's got that slipstream. Is he going to be able to go for a move coming into the Parabolica? I don't think he is. MazeGamer's going to have to sit in behind Xmart for the time being. In the background there, Civic having a little look to the inside of Just Jose. I think he's going to have that. Sorry, Just Jose even having a look on Civic, and he's got that one done up into third place there. Nice move from Just Jose up in position. But the fastest two guys in the qualifying session, MeltedDazzer and Champ, running down in 10th and 11th places as MeltedDazzer lines up a move here on Nicky and moves up into 9th place there. Pretty routine stuff as he's got drivers who aren't in his class currently around him, so he's making that move very, very simply and easily, as we can also see Champ now picking these guys off as well. Champ moves up behind MeltedDazzer. Is he going to try and make a move on his fellow LMP2 class driver? He has a little look here onto the brakes. Oh, the Nuts just tags Champ in the back there. Oh no, that was a little bit mad move there, but now MeltedDazer's going to try and get past these GTE drivers if he can, who are all battling over the class lead. Beambasher there pushing MeltedDazzer, squeezing him out as he's battling with the Nuts and Falguest. Beambasher there just holding on ahead of Falguest. Falguest getting well out of the way as we see the Champ there cutting the chicane, going straight on over the second chicane, right over the sleeping policeman. He loses out as a result, drops back behind these guys. The Nuts and Beambasher going side by side. Beambasher moves into the lead of the GTE class there, coming through Lesmo 1, gets a little bit of a wiggle on the exit of the corner though. The Nuts looking to the inside, coming into Lesmo 2. Is he going to be able to make that move? No, backs out of that one, thinks better of it. But they've also got MeltedDazzer trying his absolute damnedest. He's been trying to get past these guys for about a lap now, still hasn't been able to do it. Looking to the outside here of Beambasher. I think MeltedDazzer should have that one done coming into Ascari, and Champ follows him through. I think Champ and MeltedDazzer have finally managed to clear that pack of GTE drivers. Oh no, the Nuts is in the wall. Oh no, and he looks like he's been collected there by Grandad Steve. The Nuts into the barriers there, loses his front bumper as well. Grandad Steve moves up a position into 4th in class. Matt Falguest still on the back of Beambasher in this battle for the class lead. These two having a great little scrap as Grandad Steve moves ahead of Nicky up into 3rd in class right now for the GTEs. Maze Gamer still leading the field by just under 2 seconds ahead of Xmart. These two just leaving the rest of the pack a little bit. Just Jose keeping Xmart on terms at the moment. In fact, actually, he's closed in a little bit, hasn't he? We're in 7/10 of a second of him at the moment. Civic there, sat in 4th at the moment. And they got a long way back to Champ, who's trying to make his way back through after that bit of a tap coming into the first corner. He's got a lot of work to do in this race, that is for sure. MeltedDazzer there sat behind the GTEs once again. Beambasher and Falguest have got back ahead of MeltedDazzer. He's struggling to pick him off here in this race. Maze leads the field ahead of Civic, and Civic's got ahead of Xmart and Just Jose. So those two dropping back. Civic now up into 2nd place, making the most of their little skirmishes there. Let's go back to the battle for the GTE class lead though, as Beambasher and Falguest continuing to put on a fantastic show here. These guys really are giving it everything. They've pulled away a little bit from Grandad Steve, 4 seconds back to him, and Grandad Steve looks like he's lost out there. Nicky's up into the final podium spot for the GTEs. Nicely done there from Nicky, and at the moment Falguest and Beambasher and Falguest separated by MeltedDazzer, who's continuing to try and pick these GTE cars off. He keeps getting past them and then making mistakes, but Beambasher slows down a little bit there and lets MeltedDazzer past. MeltedDazzer will be thankful for that one. Let's hope that he doesn't make any more mistakes and drop behind him again. Oh, Beambasher gets a big slide there coming through Ascari, and he's into the barriers there. Falguest slips through up into the class lead. Oh, Beambasher there was so close to spinning around. I thought he was going to be facing backwards there, but he did so well to keep it pointing in the right direction. But Falguest now your leader in the GTEs. Civic though still sat in P2 ahead of Xmart and Just Jose, who are trying to get back onto him again. Just Jose going a little bit deep into the first corner, gets away with that one though. Maze Gamer pulling away at the front. He's now got a 5-second gap over Civic. Champ is bringing the gap down at the moment. He's up into 5th place. He's currently 17 seconds behind the race leader Maze. So this is definitely going to be one to watch out for, because Maze is doing a good consistent job out the front, but Champ is quicker by about a second a lap. So at this rate, Champ should catch him. But Maze, if he picks up the pace a little bit, just a little bit, might give Champ a bit of a headache and give him something to worry about. But right now, Champ on a trajectory to win this race, and he keeps driving the way he is, but he's not going to do it like that, is he? Look at that, riding over those sausage calves coming through the chicane. Definitely not what he would have wanted there. MeltedDazzer still sat in P6 right now. He's managed to gap Falguest and Beambasher. Beambasher's dropped off the back of Falguest with that little mistake coming through Ascari a couple of laps ago. Nicky doing a great job here in P3 in the GTE class, running just ahead of DJ Phil, who's trying to pick him off here and move up into some clean air if he can. DJ Phil obviously in the LMP2 class will be wanting to get ahead of Nicky as soon as he possibly can. Grandad Steed there sat in 11th spot. The Mutsnuts running in P12 overall, and down in 5th in the GTE class. So Hot Pack there at the back of the field, still pulling up onto the back of the Mutsnuts. Hot Pack in the LMP2s will be frustrated with how this race has gone, that is for sure. Just Jose and Xmart though, very, very close down the start finish straight. I think Xmart's going to be close to make a move here. Pulls out the slipstream in towards turn 1, but very late on the brakes there was Just Jose. Is he going to hold it though? He's going to get it stopped in time. He's done really well there as Just Jose to keep onto that position. Xmart though is going to get an exit out of the first corner because Just Jose got a little bit hesitant onto the throttle, and Xmart's back up the inside for Curva Grande. They're side by side, but Xmart's going to have that one done pretty routinely there. Just Jose's going to try and tuck back into the slipstream and come back at him though, coming up towards the De La Rocha chicane. Here they come. Pulls out to the right hand side. He's going to try and go down on the brakes if he can. No, thinks better of that one. Gives Xmart a bit of a tap in the rear there. Oh, you see the front wing off of Just Jose's car flying off, but Xmart holds on ahead of Just Jose for now. He was really looking everywhere that he could there, but Xmart doing a great job there of defending that position. These guys dropping off at the back of Civic, as Civic's consistently just doing what he has to do in second place. The gap between Maze and Champ is still 17 seconds, so Champ's not bringing that down at the moment. Maze looking good to take this first round of the season, but it's early doors yet, only 8 minutes into what is an hour race, and it's been action packed so far. If the race continues to be like it is right now, I'm going to lose my voice by the end of this. That's 100% guaranteed. But Falguest still doing the bits here, holding on ahead of Beambasher in this battle for P7. Grandad Steve's dropped off a bit. DJ Phil is still trying to get ahead of Grandad Steve. So Grandad Steve's also got ahead of Nicky, so Nicky's down to P4 in the GTE class. Yep, P4. He's looking onto the back of DJ Phil right now, so he's really doing a good job in that Ferrari of keeping onto the back of that LMP2 car. The Mutsnuts is currently 17 seconds off of the GTE class lead. He was up there in the qualifying session. He's got the pace, just needs to get it together, get it hooked up and put some consistent laps in. He's not out of this one by a long shot. Nicky though gets wide coming out of Lesmo 2 off onto the grass, and he's going to lose a position there. Looks like Hot Pack's going to come through as well. So Nicky having a bit of a moment there, down to last place overall. As Civic's had a bit of a moment here. Look what's happened to him. He's now got Xmart and Just Jose all over him. Let's jump on board with Just Jose here as they're coming up towards De La Rocha. I think Xmart's just about far enough ahead of Just Jose to fend off any kind of advancement from Just Jose at the moment. Xmart going a little bit deep into Lesmo 1, but gets away with that one. And Civic's wanted to pull a little bit of gap to these two while they continue to scrap it out. Let's go back to the battle here for the GTE class lead. We've got Falguest, says on the timing screen that he's very close to Beambasher, but the timing screen, I fear, is telling us a few little lies there, because they don't appear to be too close at this point. So maybe just a bit of misleading information there on the timing screen. Emo Guy's pulled a big gap back to these two now since making a move on them a few laps ago. Has struggled to get into a rhythm in this race as Emo Guy since taking front row start for this race. He's 27 seconds off of the class lead, but it's a long race. Yeah, that's not going to rule him out at all. And with no mandatory pit stop, it does sort of open up the strategy for this race as well, as he takes a very unorthodox line there coming through the Ascari. Champ is now close to Xmart. Xmart's lost it coming through Parabolica. He's at a moment there. He's down to 5th place. Champ moves up into 4th. Champ continued to make little gains on the race leader, Maze Gamer. That time around he took 2 tenths out of him. Not going to be enough at this rate to win this race though. But Xmart having a bit of a skirmish there coming through the final corner, and he's now down in 5th place. He's got 9 seconds back to Emo Guy, who's continuing to hunt these guys down in 6th place. DJ Phil running in 7th in the LMP2s. Hot Pack sat in 8th. He's currently reeling in Grandad Steve, looking to try and get himself into some clean air. Well, hopefully by the end of this race, see all the LMP2s getting ahead of all the GTEs. That would be pretty representative of what you would expect. But Just Jose, not too far off the back of Civic right now, still keeping him on his toes. 2.5 between these two. 3 tenths quicker as though Civic was on the previous lap. These guys still dropping off the back of the leader, Maze Gamer. Champ's had a bit of a mare on this lap so far. The gap was 17 seconds to Maze. It's now up at 19, so he's dropping off a little bit at this point. Certainly not keeping on tabs with him at this point. Race settling down a little bit now. Not a whole load going on in terms of the battles at this point. Beambasher's had a moment though, I think. he's gone off somewhere, because he's now behind, well, he was already behind DJ Phil. No, he wasn't. He was ahead of DJ Phil. He was on the back of Falguest, so Falguest has now got a 5-second gap back to Beambasher. He's had a bit of a horror show there, let's be honest. It's not gone very well there for him at all. Got a few comments coming in on the YouTube stream at the moment. Good to see lots of people chiming in. We've got BB Racing saying I'm out. WTF. That's a shame there, BB Racing. I'm not sure what happened to you there at the start, mate. We just saw that you left the session in between quali and the race. Golden Time says big crash. It was Golden Time, it was. Humble Racer says let's go, champ. Well, champ currently sat in 4th place at the moment, just under 27 seconds off of the back of Maze Gamer, doing the odd lap that's quicker than Maze, but not consistently closing the gap by enough. In fact, Maze over this first phase of the race has actually been slightly quicker than champ, and he's currently got the gap and the position to show for it. Rakim says in the comments, what bad luck for champ. Absolutely, Rakim, real shame there for him. Also saying Sky should offer you a commentating job. Harry Walker would be proud. Definitely, I'm definitely not good enough to be a Sky commentator, Rakim. I just spout an absolute load of rubbish over the mic as fast as I can, and I talk so fast that people just don't realise how much rubbish it is. We've got Cosmic Mike says Stuart's going to be busy with this one. Oh, I reckon so, Cosmic Mike, for sure. A few little incidents at the start definitely set the tone for a few drivers being out of position at the moment, but champ currently bringing himself back into this race, 20 seconds off of the back off the lead of Maze Gamer. Obviously, champ's the man who's no stranger to comeback drives. Was a lap down in a 24-hour race at the Nordschleife on this game in the GT3 class a while back, and actually overhauled a lap disadvantage and went on to win the race. I remember it quite well because I was leading, and he unlapped himself and then went on to beat me in that race. So champ, very, very resilient driver, never gives up, keeps on going, gritty as anything, but he's not really closing the gap to Maze by as much as he would like to. Although, having said that, on that last lap he took half a second out of him, so champ's he's definitely putting the times in at the moment. We'll see whether or not it's going to be enough over the course of this race. Less than a quarter of a way into this one, so still a long way to go. Still plenty of time for him to continue to carve that gap down to Maze Gamer. Just Jose still on the back of Civic right now. Let's jump on board with Just Jose actually and see what he's seeing. He's a bit too far back at the moment actually. The timing screen exaggerating just how close that gap really is. Let's go back to the leader for the GTE class. Falguest still your man out front. He's actually got quite a big gap now. He's 11 seconds clear of Grandad Steve in second. Beambasher still running in third. He's 15 seconds behind. In fact, he's had a moment there coming out of Ascari. No, he hasn't. He's just letting one of the LMP2 cars past their hot pack up into some clean air ahead of Beambasher. But yeah, Beambasher's after having a good battle with Falguest at the start, has binned it into the barriers there coming out of Parabolica. He was having a great fight with Falguest in the early stages, but it's kind of tailed off for him a little bit. Is he coming into the pits? I think he is, you know, he's coming in. No mandatory pit stop here in this one, but I wonder if his tyres are starting to wear off, or maybe he hasn't put enough fuel in the car. Whatever the reason, whatever the purpose behind it, it's the same result. Unfortunately, he's going to lose out a little bit. Meantime, Maze Gamer is still leading this race and he's extending his gap to 15 seconds over Civic. But one man I'm keeping an eye on right now is Champ, because he was a second quicker than Maze Gamer on that last lap. And we've seen this a few times over the course of this race. Champ just reels that gap in for little bits at a time. He just takes chunks out of these leaders and starts to reel them in. But then we'll have a couple of scruffy laps and it'll drop him off the back again. So he just needs to keep doing what he's doing. He's onto the back of Civic and Just Jose now. It's going to be interesting to see how that holds him up. Is he still going to be able to continue to gain on Maze Gamer with these two in front of him? See how he handles Just Jose. Just Jose's been hunting down Civic for a little while, been keeping tabs with him, but hasn't been able to go for anything as of late. Champ though in the slipstream underneath the old circuit towards Ascari. I think he's too far back to go for any lunges onto the brakes though, and for now just Jose's going to hold on to that position. This is going to be Champ's opportunity, I reckon. He can get a good run out of Ascari, just clip that curb, get the car rotated nicely, get the power down. He might have a chance coming up towards Parabolica. It's a long run. If you get that tone, it can be very advantageous. He's having a look, trying to distract just Jose in the mirrors if he can, but at the moment just Jose just doing enough. Champ trying another little look to the inside as just Jose goes really wide there out of the last corner. Champ once again is going to try and slot into the slipstream if he can. Down the start and finish straight they come. Champ with his lights off is missing the front part of that car, and the front wing's also taken a bit of an adventure as well. So in the foreground also we've got is that Civic still running in P2, still hassling the back of the back marker. Oh, Civic's lost it. He was trying to, he was a bit distracted there by the back marker, I reckon, and they're both having to put a lap there on Hot Pack as Hot Pack gets himself in all sorts of trouble there. Oh my goodness, 3 cars having to lap one of the LMP2 cars there. It's given oh wow, that's given the Champ the opportunity to slip through up into second place, and just Jose and Civic come together. Oh no, and that's just dropped that's dropped Civic. That's like it's dropped Champ down to 4th place. Oh no, Champ's now lost out massively there. Cuts over the second chicane, rides over the sleeping policeman. He's lost out enormously in that little exchanges, Champ. Just Jose back up into P2 ahead of Civic. He's getting pushed around a little bit though at the moment, is Champ. Flash the lights there from one of the leaders there on the back marker. As that is Grandad Steed there moving out of the way for the leaders. Good to see. Obviously one of the GTE class, no match for the LMP2s. Now try saying that to Falguest, who's sat in 7th place overall and in the lead of the GTE class right now. He's a little bit ahead of DJ Phil, who's running in the LMP2s, also running ahead of Hot Pack as well, likewise in the LMP2 category. So what a job tonight from Falguest here in this race. Also big honourable mention to Grandad Steed running ahead of Hot Pack. Grandad Steed in GTEs as well, ahead of Hot Pack in the LMP2s. As we can see, Xmec and Hot Pack going side by side, and Xmec's going to be putting the lap on Hot Pack relatively comfortably there. But Civic's managed to pull a bit of a gap to Champ and Xmec, 4 seconds now. Just Jose and Civic got a bit of a gap back to these two. It's kind of brought Xmec back into a battle here with Champ's little horror show there coming through this corner a lap ago. Emo guy still running in P6 in the LMP2 class, kind of just sitting there and making not really making huge gains on the leaders, it has to be said, but I reckon he'll be there or thereabouts if anybody up front starts to make mistakes. Only about 15 seconds off of a podium spot, so he's not out of this one by a long shot, as Emo guy. Grandad Steed and Hot Pack of 2 different categories battling it out here, coming through Ascari. Grandad Steed gets ahead of him into the corner, but Hot Packs will have a lot better straight line speed coming down this section of the track, and he's going to take him straight back there. Hot Pack moves up into some clean air, but the question is, once we get to the chicanes, is Grandad Steed going to have anything in reply for him? He might very well do. We'll have to see. and gentlemen, apologies for the little delay there. Just I had to go and grab something, but looks like Champ's closing up onto the back of Xmart. He's had a few difficult moments in this race so far, which have kind of just brought him out of contention for battling at the front, but he's still sticking with it at the moment, still hoping that he can just nip away, try and make some inroads on the leaders if he can. Obviously started on pole position but got punted off into turn 1, and since then it's been a very, very difficult evening. But he's going to step up the inside there of one of the GTE cars. Oh no, he's been caught up there with Beam Basher though. Oh no, no, no. Just as we saw that happening, I think MazeGamer may have made a bit of a mistake, because the gap to Champ was about 32 seconds and it's actually gone down by 1 second despite that incident for Champ. So yeah, definitely not what Champ would have ideally been needing in that situation, but I don't know, still not the end of the world. I mean, he hasn't lost too much time, but that incident with Beam Basher has cost him probably making those gains that he would have ideally been needing in that situation. But still time left in this session for him to get himself back onto the fight for the podium spots. Only 14 seconds off of the back of just Jose, currently occupying that third spot here in this race. But yeah, tricky moments definitely for the man currently sat in P5 coming into the pits. So presumably getting some fuel in the car, maybe some fresh tyres as well, who knows what exactly is the story behind that one. But yeah, into the pits he comes anyway to make a pit stop. MazeGamer is still out in front, still leading this race by about 13 seconds over Civic. He's got 16 seconds back to just Jose, who looks like he's still putting pressure on Civic, but actually he's dropped back. Oh, he goes wide coming through Lesmo 1, and he was about to put a lap there on one of the GTE runners. I think that was Mutsnuts. Yeah, it is. Mutsnuts struggling in this race. Falgast running in 8th overall and leader of the GTE class, doing a fantastic job tonight. He's 17 seconds clear of the man in 2nd in the class at the moment, currently sat in 10th overall, Grandad's D. Falgast just about holding on ahead of Hotpack, who's in the LMP2 class. In fact, no, not just about, he's quite way ahead of him. It says on the timing board it's about 3 seconds, it's definitely more than that though. Yeah, it looks to me to be about 10 seconds between the two of them. So Falgast doing a brilliant job, actually running ahead of one of the LMP2 runners, as we see Nicky into the box now. Change your tyres, quick bit of fuel in there, see if you can try and go to the end of the race. Big shout out to those of you watching us live on YouTube and on Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook, then head over to our YouTube stream, click on us, drop a like on the video if you enjoy what you see, subscribe to the Motive Racing channel, and join us at motiveracing.com if you want to get involved in the on-track action. We've got leagues throughout the week on ACC, Project Cars 2 and F1 leagues coming soon. We had a full season on F1 2020 last season, a full 22 race season, which went the distance and went down to the wire as well. It was won by this man here, just Jose. So if you play on ACC, Project Cars 2 or F1, you fancy a little bit of action, you enjoy sim racing, then come over to motiveracing.com. We've got leagues for you. We've got Porsche Super Cup on a Monday night, Clio Cup on Tuesday night. Sorry, the Porsche Super Cup is on ACC, the Clio Cup on Project Cars 2. Then we've got GT4s on Wednesday night on ACC. All of these on PS4, by the way. F1 League will be starting back up again on a Friday night pretty soon. GT3s and multi-class on a Saturday night on Project Cars 2. Then we're back on ACC on a Sunday night for the GT3s, followed by the touring cars back on Project Cars 2 later on in the night. So lots of action throughout the week, plenty to get involved in here at Motive Racing. As just Jose and Xmart still separated by about 7/10 of a second. Civic's coming into the pits to make a stop, put a fuel in, fresh tyres, try and go to the end. No mandatory pit stop in this race due to the fact that it is a timed race, but everybody seems to be coming in for a stop anyway. MazeGamer continuing to do the business out in front, 23 seconds he's got over the rest. Champ's been into the pits, he's good to go until the end. back of just Jose right now. Almost went into the back of him there, coming into Lesmo 1. Keeps it together though. These two have been giving us a good show for the last few laps. Xmart last lap was 4/10 quicker than just Jose. He's continuing to put the pressure on him at the moment, but just still can't find a way through just at this point. In towards Ascari. Just Jose a little bit later in the race, goes slightly deep coming into the corner. Keeps it on the track just about. Flash the lights there from just Jose. I think he's got a penalty, and Xmart returns the gesture there as he comes through. So just Jose, very sportsmanlike, knew he had a penalty, knew he wasn't worth fighting for, waves Xmart through, and he moves up into second place for the time being. These guys now 26 seconds behind this man here, Maze Gamer, who has absolutely driven off since the beginning of this race. He's been superb tonight, as we are just over halfway through. Champ, fastest lap of this race goes to him so far, 1:35.4. He's currently a long way off of the leader. Thought that Maze, just Jose and Xmart need to come in pretty soon to fill up their fuel tanks. I can't imagine that they've got a whole load left in those tanks. They're surely going to have to box very shortly. I seem to remember a race at Le Mans, the fuel tanks for the LMP2s managed to last about 8 or 9 laps, so that would be about 30 minutes, 35 minutes. Currently 33 minutes into this race, so obviously the fuel consumption at Monza is going to be pretty much, I would say, the same as Le Mans. They're both very high speed, straight liney type tracks, full throttle for most of it. So I would say probably shortly we're going to be seeing Maze, just Jose and Xmart coming in and making their stops. Civic, Champ, Emo Guy, DJPhilgreen, Steve Falguest, Hotpack, Nicky all have got their stops done and out of the way as Falguest emerges from the pits in 9th. As he slots in behind Grandad Steve, who inherits the GTE lead at the moment. Few people have dropped out of the session. Beambash has retired from the race, that's a shame. Nicky's still going rounding out the GTE placings at this point, but I think we're down to 3 in the GTEs. The Mutsnuts and Beambash are both out of this race just after the halfway mark. That's a shame there to lose those guys. So 3 GTE cars still in the race and 8 of the LMP2s out on the track. So the LMP2s have certainly stayed the distance, the GTEs not so much. Says, is it visual damage only? It is Humble Racer, yeah, visual damage only, just because I think that's the best way to do it generally with these longer distance races, because if you practice and practice, you turn up, you get crashed into at the first corner, as we saw with Champ. It sucks really, let's be honest. It's horrible when you put so much effort into it and then it all goes wrong through no fault of your own. I feel like visual damage is the best way to go with sim racing in general, but especially in an event like this, I think it's a no-brainer. It just means you can live to fight again. Yes, you might be a long way behind. Yes, it might have put a spanner in the works temporarily, but at least you're there. At least you can still fight back and come back and do a good job in the race. You know, it's not game over just because of somebody else's mistake. As we see Xmart coming into the pits to make his stop now, and Mace still out there. He has gone long into this race. He's gone very long. When is he going to come in? When is he going to pull the trigger? That's got to be the question now. He really has stretched this stint to the max and showing no signs of letting up, but I imagine he's got to come in this lap I can't imagine he's going to be able to go another lap. I think 35 minutes was the maximum that I could possibly have imagined anybody going into this race. He's gone almost 36 minutes without coming in and stopping, and he hasn't been in anyone's draft. He hasn't been able to leech off of anyone's slipstream, so he's been doing it all his own work out front. Surely Mace is going to come in this lap. No. Wow, he's staying out. How long is he going into this race? This is incredible stuff from Maze Gamer. I don't know how he's able to stay out on track for this long. I really don't. But he's doing it, and he's making it work. 1 minute 20 is gap to Civic and Xmart. Champ's still hunting down Civic and Xmart, bringing himself back into that battle again. Humble Racer says, if I was to join GTE, I'd drive the Corvette. LMP2, I'd go with a right-hand drive car, just not sure which one. Where the community go? Should be still there. See Champ there getting ahead of Xmart. He's now onto the back of Civic as they come down this long straight up towards Parabolica. He's right on board with Champ, see what he's seeing. He's got that closing speed there. He's really closing in on him. There's a little flash of the lights there from Champ on Civic, letting him know that he wants to come through, as Civic goes a little bit wide there coming through Parabolica. Champ though can't make the most of it, had to just let off the throttle a little bit to avoid running into him, and it's going to live to fight another day here as they come down the start finish straight. Starting back into that toe once again. Is he going to be able to make the most of the slipstream, or is Civic going to hold on once again? Champ now picking up that toe, but is it going to come to any avail? Is he going to be able to throw one up the inside into turn one? Nope, he's going to think better at that one. Civic though gets a little bit loose onto the curb, rides over the sleeping policeman on the inside of the chicane, and that's given Champ the opportunity to drive past him coming out of the turn one. Through Carver Grande they go, and Champ's up into second place in this race. He's 1 minute 20 behind Maze Gamer, who still needs to come in and put some fuel in the car, but at this point it's looking like Maze can't be stopped right now. He's got to put fuel in, as we said, but I reckon he'll come out with at least a 20-30 second lead in this race once all is said and done. So it's very much looking like Maze Gamer's in control of this race, as we see in the foreground there a flash of the lights from Just Jose. No, not Just Jose, sorry. Somebody that they're putting a lap on. Hot Pack? No. I'm not sure. Xmart getting back ahead of Champ. Champ's not happy about something. He's flashing his lights a little bit there. Humble Racer says, go Champ. Champ though struggling to pick off these guys. He's dropped back behind Civic and Xmart. He was running in P2 a few moments ago, so he's making a few mistakes here. 20 minutes left to go in this race, so we wanted to make sure we can get as good a start to the season as we can. If he can't reel Maze Gamer in and finish in first place tonight, he'll be definitely willing to pick up a P2 and maximise those points. This being a championship here, points and pride are at stake. Champ's got a good run here coming under the old circuit, coming into the braking zone for Ascari. I think he's going to have the move done there on Xmart. Yeah, he does. Xmart leaves him the car, puts on the inside very nicely, and Champ picks him off. But for how much longer is he going to be able to hold on? He needs to just keep it clean, not make any more mistakes as he's closing up onto the back of Just Jose. of Civic even apologise. Maze Gamer's made his pit stop and come out still with a 30 odd second lead over Civic, so Maze Gamer's absolutely blitzed it tonight in the opening round of this multi-class series. What a superb job he has done. It's been incredibly impressive stuff from Maze Gamer, it really has. He got the lead gifted to on the plate slightly, just due to Champ getting caught up in incidents. Struggled to pick them off at first, make his way back through, but Maze just said bye-bye at the start, disappeared off into the sunset, and since then it's been difficult to catch him. It's just, I think he just got too much of a head start to begin with. Those first few moments are crucial in any race. When somebody just sort of packs up and leaves and just picks up all their stuff and heads off, it's like it's hard to actually to keep tabs with them. And Maze Gamer did exactly that, made it too difficult for them to catch up at any point. And by the time that they got into a groove, by the time they had any answer for him, it was too late. Champ, the only man who's really had the pace of any kind of relativity to Maze Gamer. He's currently running a couple of seconds behind Civic at this point. He's got about a second back to Xmart since making that move. Xmart's keeping tabs with Champ. He's not allowing him to run away with this podium spot. Xmart's got the draft here coming down the start-finish straight, and maybe he might be looking to make a move here. As they come up towards the first corner, Champ's going to go defensive here. Xmart to the outside, going to try and make a move, but Champ's going to cover that one off into the braking zone and hold on for now. But didn't look too confident there getting onto the power out of the first chicane, but he's holding on for the time being. 17 minutes in this session still to go, as Champ got all it takes to try and close the gap to Civic and bring himself into contention for this battle for second place. Or is Xmart going to continue to distract him and halt his progress in this race? Continuing to lead this race though, his gap to Champ staying at around 38 seconds. It's been pretty consistent. It's a shame really that we've been, sorry to Civic even, I have to apologise, but his gap to Champ's still about 40 seconds, and I was going to allude to it being a shame really that Champ got taken out at the start, because if it hadn't been for him being punted off at the beginning, I reckon that Champ and Maze would have been very evenly matched over the course of this race. I mean, saying that though, Champ hasn't really closed the gap to Civic that much. Civic's been on the pace, but just not as consistent as Maze throughout the entirety of it. He's been as quick, but just not as consistent. You see Civic there riding over those curves coming through the second chicane, and whoa, what's going on there? Champ has just been caught up there with one of the, no, it's not Champ, sorry, that was Hot Pack there getting caught up with one of the GTE runners, as he then proceeds to get passed around the outside by Xmart, who moves himself into some clean air around the outside of LMP2, but Hot Pack there just getting caught up with one of the GTE cars, and Champ managed to get through that, so Champ wasn't caught up in that one. He just saw that unfold in front of him. Falguest that was in the GTE, he's still leading the GTE class. He's got Hot Pack all over him. He's trying to fight this one, is Falguest. In fact, Falguest actually, hold on a minute, he's behind Grandad Steve, but I thought Grandad Steve still needs to come into the pits. I don't think, oh wait, Grandad Steve might be trying to go to the end here. I wonder if there's enough fuel in that car to go the full hour. There probably is, you know, actually. Thinking about it, I think you might be able to go the full distance on one tank in these GTEs. I think possibly. You know what, if Grandad Steve's done that, he's pulled off an absolute masterstroke there. Because I don't think many people thought of that one. So it's currently MazeGamer leading the way in the LMP2s. He's got a 40-second gap over Civic, and in turn is a couple of seconds ahead of Champ. Those three currently looking at the podium spots for the LMP2 class. XmecOnline not too far off, but he's dropped off a Champ just a tad over the last few laps. Race leader for the GTE classes currently Grandad Steve. Oh, as we see somebody losing it in the background there. Was that Champ there losing it out of Esmo2? No, it wasn't Champ. It was just Jose. Just Jose's completely binned it out of Lesmo2. He's been caught up with somebody there. I think are there two cars involved in that one? There are. Just Jose. Just Jose and Emo Guy just making his way through there. Oh my goodness me, that is a mess there. Just Jose and Hot Pack caught up in that one. Just Jose on his roof. Hot Pack in the wall has retired from the race with only 12 minutes left to go in this session. So everybody's just got to be careful here, because Just Jose's car beached in the middle of the track on its roof. That is not a good look there for Just Jose. I think they may have just come together. Just Jose probably trying to lap Hot Pack, and Hot Pack giving him a bit of a fight. Yeah, not the situation you really want to see. Maze still leads this race by 41 seconds ahead of Champ. Champ just a couple of seconds off of Civic still, but the gap kind of staying around the same between those two. Champ took 2/10 out of them on that last lap. 2/10 isn't really much, to be honest with you. That could be seesawing back and forth, and Champ goes really wide out of Lesmo2 as well onto the gravel, loses him a little bit of time. Xmec still running 3.5 seconds behind Champ at this point. Sat in that P4. Emo Guy has had a bit of a so-so race here, to be honest with you. He qualified on the front row alongside Champ. It's quite strange actually that the front two in qualifying for the LMP2s really struggled in this one. Oh no, somebody's lost it in the background there. Civic has lost it. Civic's binned it coming out of Ascari, and that's given P2 to Champ. It's put Xmec onto the podium. Civic was doing so well in this race. He was in P2 for pretty much the entirety of it. He's just lost it coming out of Ascari. He's thrown away a possible podium there, unless he can get back onto the rear end of Xmec. He's got 5 seconds up the road to him, but that is incredibly unfortunate there for Civic. Really, your heart does go out to him, because he was looking really good for a podium spot. Still not out of it yet, but that's just giving that second place to Champ on a plate here. Still running a very long way behind this man though, MazeGamer, who has controlled this race since the beginning and looks set to take the opening round of this multi-class series for the LMP2 class. Falguest was leading the GTE class for a while, but the current leader of the GTEs is Grandad Steve, and it's looking very likely that Grandad Steve will be taking home the win for the GTEs this week. Jose said in the comments, sorry for all the chaos. No, that's alright, just Jose. Nothing you can do about that. Obviously, I was hoping somebody would flip you over onto all fours there off of your roof, but no help was forthcoming, unfortunately. But shame to see you dropping out of the race at such a late stage here in this one. obviously you got so far, got 50 minutes into the race, but hopefully we'll catch you in the next one. Catch you next week for the second round of the season. We'll be at Spa next week for this multi-class series. Hopefully we'll have a full grid for the GTEs. We started this one off with 8 drivers for the LMP2s and 6 for the GTEs. We're down to just 3 runners for the GTEs, but the LMP2s have still got 6 out on track. Need a couple more drivers for GTEs. If you're interested in jumping in, anybody watching on the YouTube stream or Facebook, then come over to motiveracing.com and join the Discord server, and there you'll be able to sign up as a GTE driver for this multi-class series. Got a couple of spots still available if anyone wants them. Still continues to lead the GTE class with 8 minutes left on the clock. Champ is still continuing to have about a 3.5 second gap back to Xmart, and looks good for this P2 as long as he keeps it clean and tidy for the rest of this race. Ian there in the comments, EmoGuy says only because I got screwed into turn 1, obviously in relation to me saying that he hasn't really had the best of races here in this one. Qualified so well, but unfortunately Monza turn 1 infamous for being a bit of a battleground, and in league races you hope that there'll be less of it, but ultimately it's cost him in this race. He had too much work to do at an early stage and couldn't come back from it, so it's a shame there for him in this race, but nonetheless he'll be back next week. He'll be fighting Spa next time out. We know it's a track that he likes, he enjoys, he will certainly go fare well around there. Oh, my TV will turn off in 5 minutes, let me just amend that. But coming into the closing stages now of this multi-class series for the first round here at Monza, Mace has been pretty much on top since the get-go. He's blitzed the field tonight for Team Prolapse. His teammate Nicky currently sat 3rd in class for the GTEs, doing a fantastic job here tonight. Maze going for a late move on the inside of the Porsche Falguest as he puts a lap on him, and Falguest just saw him coming there. That was close, definitely a close call between the two of them as Maze makes his way through into some clean air, but Falguest did really well to see that one coming, because the closing speed of those LMP2s is phenomenal. They got so much pace over those GTE cars, and hats off to Falguest there. I was watching that back on the feed. That was very, very close indeed. Maze still your man out front, 43 seconds is his gap to Champ. Champ now starting to lap quicker than Maze, but I feel that his rhythm has come a little bit late in the day for this one. Whilst we're here guys, whilst we've got the eyes and ears, we've got 9 likes on the stream. If we can get this video to 10 likes before we get off air for this multi-class series, it would mean the absolute world to us. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already guys, and if you're watching this for the first time, then come and join us at motiveracing.com. We've got lots of leagues throughout the week here on Project Cars 2. We've got the Clio Cup on Tuesdays, we've got the GT3s and this multi-class series for the LMP2s and GTs on Saturday nights. Then we've got touring cars on Sundays, and if you're a racer on ACC, we've also got Porsche Super Cup on Monday, GT4s on Wednesday, or GT3s on a Sunday night. And if you race on the F1 game, then come over to motiveracing.com. We've got leagues starting up on F1 2021 in a month or so's time. Pretty much when the game comes out, we'll be on it. We've done a full season on F1 2020. We had a full 22 race season, which Just Jose won. Just Jose was racing here tonight in this multi-class series in the LMP2 class earlier on. Evil Sotsman saying normally it's complimentary to get offered a steak dinner before getting screwed. Well, they definitely did that in the wrong way round, didn't they, mate? I mean, I suppose in a way your steak dinner was getting P2 on the grid. you know, after that you've had your fun as far as they're concerned. You know, that's it. You've had your fun. You got on the front row. Now it's no, actually that's a bit weird. That's a little bit weird. That is really weird. Where do I come up with all this? MazeGamer though still leading this race by 34 seconds at the moment over Champ. Champ's pulled away to Xmar a bit over the course of the last few laps. Just under 4 minutes left in this race as he really rides over that curb, clouts that sausage curb on the inside of the second chicane. Looks comfortable though to Xmar at the moment. GrandadSte's coming in to make a stop, so he's finally had to put some fuel in the car. He was trying to go the distance here at Monza, but he hasn't been able to get it to go that far. Falgas is coming in towards the final corner. I think Ste is going to hold on though, you know. I think Ste's got enough. GrandadSte will hold on to the GTE class lead, I reckon. Falgas just coming out of the last corner now, so yes, GrandadSte emerges with the GTE class lead here with 3 minutes left on the clock. You can see the Porsche there of Falgas in the background coming over the line to start what I think is going to be the penultimate lap of the race. The gap between these two around 5 seconds, I think. Yeah, about 5, 6, maybe 6.5 seconds between the two of them. So GrandadSte looking very good to take this one home, unless he makes a mistake in these last couple of laps. Falgas, I'm sure, is going to be pushing right to the end to see if he can try and capitalise on a mistake from GrandadSte. Nicky's still going in that final podium spot for the GTEs. Big hats off here to Nicky, sticking with it for Team Prolapse, and he's going to pick up the third place points there for the team as well. And with his teammate MazeGamer currently doing the business out front in the lead of the LMP2 class, they're going to pick up some very, very strong points indeed for their championship campaign. I'd say for the first multi-class series race here at Motive Racing, it's been a booming success. I've enjoyed bits of this one. It's been exciting to see the battle between Xmart and Champ, and in fact, talking of that, Xmart's got ahead of Champ. Didn't see what happened to Champ on that previous lap. It happened quite a while ago now, because they're just finishing this lap they're currently on. But Champ's lost out. He's in that slipstream trying to come back at Xmart, coming out towards the first chicane. He pulls out to the left hand side there, but it looks like Xmart's going to cover him off into the brakes. Goes a little bit deep into the first corner though, which is going to allow Champ to try and get the cut back on him, and Champ does that beautifully there. Gets the drive out of the first corner and he's back up into second place. Xmart flashed the lights there, basically taking his hat off there to Champ for Champ's patience there as he got onto the throttle. He just let Xmart go up the inside, and then on the exit of the first chicane beautifully executed the cutback, and he's back up into P2. But what's going to happen here in the final couple of laps of this race? This one going to go down to the wire. MazeGamer flashing his lights as he comes out of the parabolica, but he will get another lap in unless he decides to slow down and wait for the line. No, MazeGamer's going to, yes he is, he's going to slow down here. So this is the last lap. MazeGamer completely blitzing it tonight here in the LMP2 category, and does a few celebratory donuts just to cap it off. Made the most of being able to get away at the start. The others all found themselves in problems. Champ, Emo Guy ran into issues. Xmart wasn't able to keep up in the early phases of the race, and MazeGamer here absolutely rubbing it in. As you can see, the tyre marks all over the track there, and yeah, he's going to cross the line in a few moments time. You would imagine Champ's coming into the parabolica, so Maze needs to get a move on. And there we go, MazeGamer is your winner for the opening round of the multi-class. Champ out of the parabolica now is going to come home in P2. Xmart in the end comes out second best in that fight for P2. Champ over the line to take second place here in this race. Xmart third, completing the podium. Great battle between those two at the end there. Civic's coming out onto the start finish straight now. Flash the lights from him. He'll be disappointed he couldn't get a podium tonight. It just all went wrong at the end there, but he comes home in 4th place. A great result nonetheless for Civic. Emo guy is going to come round in 5th place. He's a long way behind these guys now as he's coming up towards the final sector of the final lap. As here comes Emo guy up towards the Parabolica, qualified in 2nd place in the qualifying session, but the start of the race went a little bit pear-shaped for him. Got caught up in a few incidents and struggled to make headway through the pack. Got stuck behind a few of the GTE runners for a lap or two, and then made a few mistakes, kept dropping back behind them, kept having to re-clear them. But he's going to come out of the last corner. It's going to be a solid result here for Emo guy. A P5, some good points there for his campaign. Does a few flips over the line, beautiful stuff. DJ Phil's done for the session. I think Nicky's just behind this battle here as we see Grandad Steve, Falguest and Nicky coming in towards Parabolica now. Grandad Steve is going to hold on and take home the race win here at Monza as Falguest gets really wide out onto the gravel there through Parabolica, but Grandad Steve is going to bring home the first race for the GTEs here in the multi-class. Great win from him tonight. Falguest is going to come round to take a P2 in class, and Nicky completing that podium. Falguest over the line there. Nicky crosses over the line in his Ferrari to round off a 1st and a 3rd for Team Prolapse in their respective classes, and that is that then for the first round of the season for the GTE and LMP2 multi-class here at Monza. Great racing from everybody. Maze Gamer putting on a phenomenal performance there to take the spoils. Had a big gap to Champ, did a few theatrics at the end there which made the gap look a little bit less one-sided, but Champ doing the fastest lap of the race, 2/10 quicker than Maze. So if it hadn't been for Champ's woes at the start, getting caught up in a few incidents, we may have seen a very exciting battle between those two. Whatever you're doing guys, make sure you join us next week for round 2 at Spa. It's going to be an absolute titanic battle between these two, Maze and Champ, and don't rule out Xmart as well. Civic drove a great race, got very unfortunate at the end. Emo guy is going to be on it for sure. DJ Phil doing a great job there, bringing it home in P6 overall tonight. GTE winner Grandad Steve finishes ahead of Falguest and Nicky. Just Jose dropping out of the session with that retirement, ended up on his roof in the later stages of the race. Hotpack retired from the race also. A few retirements from the race, shame to see, but big thank you to all the guys out on track who gave us a great show. Thank you to all the viewers on the YouTube. Drop a like on the video guys, please do it if you haven't already, as it helps us out an enormous amount. Let us know what you like, let us know what you think we could do better. Join us at motiveracing.com if you're watching for the first time. Join us on Project Cars 2 on Tuesday nights for Clios, Saturday nights for the GT3s and for the multi-class for the LMP2s and GTEs, and the Sunday nights for the touring cars. If you play on ACC, join us on Monday nights for the Porsche Super Cup. GT4s run on a Wednesday night, and we've also got the GT3s on a Sunday. F1 2021 leagues coming very soon, keep an eye out for them. But from us, it's a very good evening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and hopefully catch you tomorrow for the GT3s on ACC and for the touring cars on Project Cars 2. But from us, it's a good night. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.